Welcome to Independence Nation on the Light of Life Network. There seems to be a growing debate in our country concerning charter schools versus public schools. Today we're going to take a look at those charter schools that actually have been operating and doing well within our country, but now there are lobbying efforts to take down the charter schools and to put them under heavy restrictions, thereby bringing the money back into the hands of the public school and ending the reign of the charter school. So we go now to what I call hijacking education, the fight for charter schools. And we're going to take a look at this battle concerning the charter school versus the public school. As you may already know, the students who leave those public schools go to the charter schools. The money follows the students, and therefore the public school is losing out on the money, and they're making a run. They're making lobbying efforts towards shutting down the charter schools. So let's first take a look at what is a charter school. A charter school is a school which receives public funding but operates completely and totally independent. And once again, this is a battle and a big debate among our country. And what we're finding out is that the unions are getting together to stop the charter schools and the teachers union, of course, on behalf of the public schools. Now, a charter school is in essence an alternative school which often introduces alternative methods for learning. And so what you find is that many of these charter schools are basing their curriculum on efforts to basically detail the students' gifts, and therefore being able to help the student excel to another level. And so what you find is around our country is that many of these charter schools are specific to the tailoring of their curriculum. So what you'll have is, what I found down south, is that many of the schools were on the basis of arts, and some of the schools were on the basis of math and sciences. And so you have these independent schools, alternative of the public schools, and they're operating, doing extremely well. So what you find is that statistics show that students in charter schools outperform those in public schools. And it is my opinion, is based on the basis of the innovative learning, innovative teaching that the charter school has rolled out, and how well it's done towards, once again, getting our students to the next level of education and excelling those students. Now, those charter schools grew from 1,651 schools in 2000 to 5,714 schools in 2011. And this is on the basis of their success. They've been extremely successful in teaching the students, and extremely successful in being widely accepted among parents. Now, the state with the highest estimated enrollment is California, with 410,157 students. Once again, that speaks to the wide acceptance of the parents, as well as the progress of the students. So let's take a look at another state that has been accepting of the charter schools, and that's Minnesota. And it actually started out in Minnesota. Minnesota wrote the first charter school law in the United States in 1991. And then they rolled out their first school in 1992. And so they basically set a precedent for other states to roll out charter schools. And once again, they've been successful, as we've seen the drastic number of of charter schools in this country from 2000 to 2011. It's been huge, the impact on our students and towards education. Now, as of 2011, Minnesota had 149 registered charter schools with over 35,000 students attending. Now, once again, Minnesota is where it started, the laws and regulations towards charter schools. But these are old statistics. And so in 2011, it was 149, but it is exponentially more now as we have seen this wide acceptance across our country towards charter schools and the great work that they seem to be doing. Now, once again, I don't understand how these charter schools can do so well and then they have basically a rejection by the state and what we're seeing around the country is local school boards as well. But let's take a look further. Charter schools were selected as a large component of the No Child Left Behind Act of 2002. So, and we know this No Child Left Behind Act was rolled out by none other than George W. Bush and his effort to get our children to the level of education back where we used to be on top or close to the top among countries. We have drastically declined in the last, I believe, is 20 years. But we're trying to get back to the point of having our students highly educated and among the world's top students. Now, the No Child Left Behind Act specifically states that students attending schools labeled as underperforming by state standards have the option to transfer to different schools in the district where whether it be state, private, or charter schools. So they have the choice. It's up to them. They have the freedom to choose what school they would like to go to. And as I stated, there are schools, charter schools, that can specifically detail what a student needs as far as art, as far as math and sciences, and basically help them excel to the next level of their gifting. And so there's basically an open move of students that have moved from the public school to the charter schools. As it states here, they have the freedom to go to whatever school they want in the district, and many of those students are going to charter schools. Now let's take a look at some of the benefits of charter schools in our area. Well, they encourage innovative teaching practices and encourage parent involvement. And this is great because they're not under the rules and regulations of regular public schools, and therefore they can bring teachers in that don't need certifications, that can teach in an innovative way. I know all around the country we're finding out that things no longer work like they used to. Of course, that was in the industrial age, and so we had industrial age curriculum, and now we're in the technology age. And in this technological age, we need a curriculum that can ready our students for a technology world, a technology employment, and basically move them forward towards the next level of education and the next level of employment. And so these innovative teaching practices are basically setting a standard for charter schools, that a proven standard that works and that is outperformed public schools time and time again. So let's take a look at another one of the benefits of charter schools. Well, they participate in distance learning that allows children to learn at home at their own pace. And this is huge because I know personally in my levels of learning that when I moved from high school to college and to graduate school, it's all about, as you get to the upper levels, it's all about learning on your own and moving at your own pace. and this is vital for students to learn to have distance learning, to move at their own pace, because it will basically give them a discipline on how to do their work, time management, time set aside to do their work, and this is huge as they get to the upper levels of education and upper levels of life. So let's move to our next benefit of charter schools. Well, they give families the opportunity to choose a school that will be most advantageous for the students' well-being. As I previously stated, many of these charter schools can pinpoint your child's gift. And so we have to encourage these charter schools. We have to encourage their efforts to do so. I know as we take a look at colleges that they use the same method. The problem is that the public school uses the method of taking people of all different characteristics and putting them through the same curriculum. And so that just doesn't work. Otherwise, our universities would do the same. No, our universities, what they do is what I found attending the University of Pittsburgh, is there's different schools. There's the School of Arts and Sciences, there's a School of Business, a School of Law. And so it basically shows us how to tailor curriculum to students, and therefore they can enter the curriculum that's best for them. The charter schools, in a way, do the same thing. As I stated, your child can attend a school that's more advantageous to the student's well-being. Okay, so let's look at another benefit of the charter schools in our local areas. Well, they have smaller class sizes, which are available. Smaller class sizes are available, which increases the student's individual time with their instructor. I know in my own personal life, as I wasn't real intelligent early on, but I hung around people who were intelligent, and I knew the saying that so goes the atmosphere. You know, if I put myself in an intelligent atmosphere, then I would become more intelligent. And so there were friends of mine, and particularly a good friend by the name of Jeremy Phillips, who was highly intelligent. So I made sure that I was around him. I always learned things around him. And this is the same method for instructors, having a smaller classroom, and they can have hands-on work with our students or with our young people, and therefore they become more viable, educated students and are prepared for the next levels of life. So this will also allow your child to receive the help and encouragement they need to succeed. These hands-on work that many of these charter schools perform, and once again they have various innovative types of curriculum to boost your child's and excel your child to the next level. So another benefit concerning charter schools: while charter schools have some of the same major laws and regulations of other public schools, they are not forced to divert their resources and energy away from educational excellence. I know this, even being in high school, I was an athlete, and that a lot of the resources are allocated towards sports, football in particular. Well, these charter schools base their resources on educational excellence, and that can only be a plus. Matter of fact, a big plus for our local students. Now, they are free to choose where these parents and students are free to choose where their resources go and how they are used. And this is important. Once again, as the students leave the public and traditional schools to go to charter schools, the state funding goes with it. And so you have more freedom to choose and to choose where those resources go. And that is big, as you can keep resources in your local community. Now, we must take a look at charter school success. It's one thing to give lip service concerning that they do so well and to give them a big rah-rah rating, but let's take a look at some of these institutions that agree that there are charter school success. The first one we'll take a look at here is the Center for Education Reform, that found that in 65 research studies done on charter schools, 61 found that charters overall provided innovative, accountable, and successful curriculum. And this is the thing, not just one school year, but time and time again, we need to support the charter schools in our local areas as the funding is kept in the area, and there are proven innovative success for their curriculum. And I can only just give an applause to those teachers of the charter schools that face many more challenges than those of the public schools, as some of those students in the charter schools are suffering with poverty and different home and family situations, and they are making sure those students have an opportunity on the education that our previous age has. So it's now time for us to make sure that our young people have a future and that they are well educated and ready for this technological age. So let's take a look at the CER's 2003 summary of charter school research findings. Well, they found that they overwhelmingly support the viability and success of charters. And I know I'm getting a little excited. I get excited about these things because, once again, I don't understand how legislation can come through in a state against a charter school when it's been proven time and time again to be successful and to basically getting our students to the next level of learning. Of course, for the last how many years we've been behind in learning, behind other countries, but with these charter schools, I see our educational system making a comeback as we try innovative efforts to make sure our students have what they need to excel to the next level. Okay, so let's look at here. So they, once again, they have overwhelmingly support for the viability and success of charter schools. So let's take a look at then the opposition. And there's always an opposition in the way, but we must take a look at the opposition. And there's a couple oppositions that I placed on here, but of course there are more than just two. But these are the two that I find that are major oppositions, or are also the main oppositions to charter schools. So the first one is government regulations giving the state power to approve charter schools. This is very important that we fight that they don't give state powers, because those teachers and the teacher unions are putting forth lobbying efforts to close charter schools. Matter of fact, there's two things that those unions aim to do. They aim to repeal charter school laws, which would restrict the charter schools and basically a reverberation of the public school. And number two, that they would limit the number of charter schools allowed by states. Once again, they have skin in the game. They want the students to stay with the public school, so the money that follows the student stays also with the public school, therefore keeping their teachers in the public school, certified teachers. But the problem is they've been outperformed by these innovative teachers at the charter schools who don't have certifications. But they're outperforming the public school year after year, time after time. And once again, we must stop them from making government regulations giving the state power to approve charter schools, because they will leave charter schools out, or they will remove we also want to fight that they'll try to remove, or we want to remove oversight by local school boards. We want to make sure that the power is not in the hands of the state or the local school board, because once again, those unions want to repeal charter school laws and to limit the number of charter schools allowed by states, therefore keeping the money in the public schools and keeping their teachers paid. Of course, the unions want to do that as the unions unionization across employment in our country has become scarce. So, how do we take action then? Well, first thing that comes to my mind is we must take action by phoning our representatives to say any legislation to restrict the independence of charter schools is unacceptable. We have to let them know that, hey, your constituents want to keep the charter schools. We want to go against any legislation that restricts those charter schools and any legislation that puts the power in the hands of the state or the local school boards. So, how do we do that then? Once again, we want to phone our representatives, and the Capitol switchboard numbers are 202-224-3121, 888-818-6641, or you can call 888-355-3588. And we want to make sure, once again, that we keep the power out of the hands of the state to decide on those charter schools, and we want to keep the power out of the hands of the local school boards, as they will tailor towards those who are more beneficial to them, which are the public schools. We want to keep the charter schools operating as they are with their innovative curriculum and basically taking our educational system here in this country to another level. So let's take a look at the things then that we've talked about to become sustainable. The first one is producing our own food and products. We want to keep with our local food and local products. Number two, we want to have a local alternative currency. And number three, we want to keep our charter schools local as well, and to have independent education in our local schools. So once again, this is Keith Pitts. I hope this has been informative. This is Keith Pitts for Independence Nation. I'll see you next time.